Hi guys, I wanted to come on and do a quick video. Hang on, I'm just trying to make sure my phone doesn't fall. Okay, about what's going on in the world in Ukraine, maybe it's not Ukraine. And I wanted to do a video when I first heard of it, when he was just not crossed over the border into Ukraine. And my first instinct, I saw a few clips on the news, and one of the clips I saw of Putin, he looked really pale, much paler than he normally looks for a Russian, because it's really cold there. I guess they don't have a lot of warmth, but he looked really pale. And my first thought was he's sick. Maybe he has a terminal illness, and maybe he's like, I'm going to go out with a bang. I guess they've had this threat of Russia invading Ukraine for, I think, eight years or whatever. Don't quote me. I'm not quite sure. I'm not a politician. I'm not a world geography, political, teacher of history. I'm just your average Joe citizen that hears tidbits from the news, and I get intuitive hits. So when I saw him listening to this news story, when it first the first news story about it, because I watch the news every day, and I saw a picture of him, and I'm like, boy, he looks kind of a little frail and a little really like pale. So I'm thinking, maybe he has an illness like cancer or something. And now he is like, hey, I got nothing to lose. I'm going to die anyway. Might as well do my desire of taking over Ukraine. And I guess he's taking over Ukraine because I guess Ukraine has untapped oil or something. Again, don't quote me. Don't start howling at me. I'm just your average Joe. This is, I think, what's going on. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but don't yell at me, okay? I'm not a politician. I'm not a political history major. So I guess what I've heard is that there's oil. So it's about money. It's about getting the land so he could drill for oil. And I guess Russia is one of the biggest manufacturers of where we get oil from. Now, what I found was interesting, I did look up Russia because I was just trying to think. I was just looking up how Russia is compared to how big it is compared to the United States. Well, Russia is really, really big. However, a lot of the land is uninhabitable because I guess it's really cold there. So although the land is really big and has oil and everything, you can't live on much of the land. And there's a lot less people that live in Russia than live in the United States. And then Putin was saying he was worried that I guess everybody else was going to let Ukraine into NATO. And he was like, don't let Ukraine into NATO, don't let them into the club, because then I guess he was worried that he won't be able to cross over to the Black Sea, I guess. Black Sea. I don't think it's the Red Sea. I think it's the Black Sea. Again, don't quote me. Don't take my word for it. Look it up yourself. You can comment in the comments if I'm saying it's not the Black Sea. If it's another sea, you could say, no, lady on YouTube, it's really the whatever sea. Okay, but don't be mean. So anyway, my point being, okay, is that when I saw him, I thought he's doing this because he's wanted this mission of getting the Soviet Union or whatever, taking over the land of Ukraine for a long time. And the Ukrainians have had this threat over them, a black crowd of Russia hanging over them with the threat for a long time. So why now? Why is he gonna do it now? Again, looking at him, I'm thinking he is sick. He is has cancer, has a terminal illness. So before he passes, like, why not just do this now? Okay. Now, when Biden did the speech and he slipped and he said, oh, it depends on like what he kind of does before we take any action. If he does a minor I don't know if was called incursion or minor or something, you know, maybe just talks like your mom across the border, you know, then he wouldn't do anything. So everybody went, you know, hands on, you know, throwing things at Biden for saying that, you know, like any incursion or any advancement is a aggression. Well, I think that Biden and the Secret Service or whoever finds out all this knowledge knew Putin's plan. So they couldn't go after Putin when he was just like forming his army and pretending it was military drills and setting up the nurses station and the makeshift hospitals for war. You know, Biden couldn't do anything about it at that point, and that's why he kind of slipped and said, well, it depends on what he does. And everybody else was like, well, look what he's doing, look what he's doing. But he wasn't crossing over the border yet into Ukraine. So I think what he slipped saying it depends on what he does, because okay, Biden couldn't do anything at that point because he hadn't crossed over into Ukraine. And not that he can do anything at this point, because Ukraine is not part of NATO. It's not part of the club, you know, that needs to be protected. So I think Biden knew Putin's plan, but yet, you know, he couldn't. If Biden or the United States acted too soon, there would be like definitely World War III. Okay, it would just go hog wild, and it would just not be good. So, I think they knew Putin was going to cross over into Ukraine. But again, Putin's, you know, a madman, or, you know, a little off center. So you never know. You don't know. You roll the dice with him. Now, so he did cross over. Okay, so he's into Ukraine. And the whole world is standing up against Putin on the side of Ukraine. And it is very sad. And this is, I did a video on the carjacking in Chicago and asking people to pray for Chicago. Well, we need to really pray for Ukraine, and we need to pray for the whole world. There is, in other YouTubers in the spiritual realm, not in the spiritual realm, in the physical realm, but that is connected to spirituality, have noticed this negative energy. There is a negative energy, that's all I could say, that is out there in the world today. And, you know, there's always good and bad, and there kind of has to be bad to see the good. Okay, it's just the way the world exists. If there was only good, we would never know it was good. If there was only good, you know what I mean? There's polar opposites of everything. You know, there's yin and yang. There's up, there's down. There's moon, there's sun. There has to be polar opposites of everything. So we have to have the bad to see the good. We have to have the evil to see the angels in the world. And this is just one of those times where evil is showing its face. And like I said, I think I said it in the carjacking video, it's, hang on, people, we're going over a train track. It's pretty rough. Pretty rough. Don't want to lose you. We have to have good win over evil. And it's bringing the world together. So just like Biden said in his State of the Union address, I don't know the exact words, but it's going to make Russia weaker and the world stronger, united. You know, and it's like, okay, all the world is being, you know, I'm kind of getting choked up about this, because the world is being united together, standing together against one man. One man, think about that. The world is seeing the inhumanity of this, of one. Oh gosh, I'm back up here, so this man can cross the street. There you go, sir. He's limping a little. Give him all the room he can get. Okay, so he's probably a veteran, but anyway, So the world is standing up against this evil of this one man, and the world sees the inhumanity of what's happening to Ukraine. He's bombing apartment buildings. He's bombing schools, hospitals. You know, the government building, which, okay, you would expect that. Airports, okay, you would expect that. The citizens are standing in the street guarding the nuclear plant, I believe it is, in Ukraine, just standing in the street. So the first thing that I thought, and then you got the ex-president. I'm going to be like Whoopi Goldberg and not mention his name, but I'm like that, not that important, so it doesn't really matter. But so the ex-president is like boosting him up, saying he's a genius. And it's like, okay, does that tell you something? Like, how did these madmen get to be leaders of a country? You know, that just is a scary thought. So, but my first thought was, because I know Trump kind of likes Putin, I was in when they first did where I saw him looking pale, and I thought he was sick, and how they were talking about he's going to go after Kiev, I think it is. I don't know how to pronounce those towns, or the capital of Ukraine. I was like, this is a January 6th insurrection to the 20th power. You know, like Putin's like, Trump's, you know what you did on January 6th? Let me show you what I could do on whatever date it was. And it was a specific date because it was the history of something. I forget what they said. What date, you know, there was, and Putin talked about it in his speech. I think he did, about the date. There was some, because Putin's very, they said he's very into history and stuff. Let me check. Okay. So the date was important. And it goes to show you numerology and symbology is very important in the world. So we can't discount that. So what was I getting at? So anyway, yeah, so the whole world is standing up against this one evil person, okay? And again, like I said, I'm just backtracking a second. My first thought was, this is like January 6th to the 20th, 100th power. So if the whole world is standing up against this one man who is doing such inhumanity to people and lying, they're saying he's lying to the people about that Ukraine started it, when they say that Ukraine didn't make any aggressive advances. Okay, the big lie, like he's following like Trump's playbook, but he's doing it at the Super Bowl. It's like it was like Trump is like a high school football game playbook, you know, but Putin's putting it at the Super Bowl playbook. And you know, and then they're saying China's watching because China wants to take over some kind of country. I don't know, but yeah. So because all the world is against this one person with the inhumanity, which I think is great, that is a good thing. But it's like, and I'm not lessening the Ukraine people, but other people in the world have had inhumanity happening to them also. You know, Black lives, Asian lives, disability lives, veterans, whatever. So nothing against the Ukrainian, but maybe this, just like Black Lives Matters, has made little bit of changes, slight changes, not massive, but in, you know, the guy that put the knee on George Floyd, he got convicted. The lady that tasered, or thought she was tasering that young black man, she got convicted. The three white men, is it Arbery? I might have the name wrong, when he was just jogging, they got convicted. So there's some slight changes in police brutality against black people. So there are slight changes, and maybe this huge injustice on the Ukraine people and this huge evil hanging over them. And I just feel it in my heart now. It makes me want to cry. Maybe it'll bring about a change. A change of love to the world. That we really can conquer things by using love and not hate. So, you know, I had a couple different theories about Ukraine. At first I was like, you know, it's only the size of Texas, they say. Again, I'm not a history major or a politician, and don't yell at me if it isn't, but I thought I read that it's only the size of Texas. And it was like, can't, you know, I was thinking like, well, can't the USA or other, you know, the Europe or whoever, can't they just do like a secret mission, go in and get everybody out, and then get everybody out safe, you know, like a covert mission, because it's only the size of Texas. Just go all in, get the babies out of the underground subway, wherever they are for that hospital. All the babies that are having cancer and they can't leave, they're in underground somewhere. A lot of people are underground subway so they don't get bombed on. Just get in, get everybody out. And then if you get everybody out, if you can, or maybe they are, maybe, I don't know, maybe they're waiting, you know, to get as many people out as they can, all the immigration over into Poland and whatever other borders that these millions of people, women and children, are walking miles by train or walking or bikes, or I've seen, or cars or whatever, just going over to Poland. I don't know where else they're going, but they just keep saying Poland. But get everybody out. And then if you get everybody out, then fucking bomb. Not that I know that people don't, it's easier said than done. I know people don't want their country ruined. But get everybody out. Bomb the shit out of it. Like ruin it. Ruin it. Cut off they've been cutting off the banks, the money, cut off everything from Russia financially, so that even if they got the land, okay, everybody from Ukraine's gone. This is just my fantasy. Everybody from Ukraine's gone. Bomb the whole fucking place. You know, the towers, the cellular towers, you know. So there's no phone service. There's no, you know, no water. Blow up the pipes underneath, you know, with the water pipes. Blow up the electric system, the electric boxes. You know, it's just whatever you could do to ruin the land, you know, pretend like the state of Texas, like Ukraine. So that, okay, so if Russia takes over, like, okay, so Russia would be like, oh, we won, you know, we got the land. Well, you didn't know that all the Ukrainian people got out. And now you have a land. Okay, so yeah, maybe, okay, you can get to the oil, but no one's going to buy oil from you. You're cut off. You can't do anything. You can't even buy a drill to drill the oil. You can't even get a jackhammer from the Home Depot to drill and try to get a hole to pop up some oil. Like what was that show? The Beverly Hillbillies? What's that thing? that they landed on oil? Like you can't even get lumber to build a shack to get a jackhammer to dig up some oil. Like just cut off Russia. Like put a big X on in geography on Russia, like poison X, you know, that symbol, whatever the symbol is for poison, and just do that. Just cut them all off. I mean, poor people of Russia, if they were smart, they would get out of Russia by now. But yeah, they're going to take the fall for their leader. People, take note. Take note. You want a leader like that? You know what I'm saying? You want to take the fall for your leader? Okay. So, I've said my piece. I am going to post some cards on it to see if we could get any other information. I'm not clear how much further. We need a miracle is what we need. We need people to pray, and we need a miracle. I do believe in miracles, even no matter how evil plan Putin might have as far as going beyond Ukraine into NATO areas where there will, if he does, there will be World War III. We will never be the same. We will live under threat of anyone. The thing is, okay, you see the women and children, and some men that could leave walking. I would be really embarrassed if I was one of them men walking with all the women and children. I just man up, you know what I'm saying? But hey, I'm not one to judge. Well, I was just judging right there. I'm sorry. I would kind of be embarrassed though if I was a guy. I'm just saying. But that's being judgmental. I'm sorry. I shouldn't do that. That's bad. But I'm like, all those women and children. I'm like, if you're a able, willing man. Now, if you were there just visiting and you're from America or something, I could see leaving. You don't have any ties there. But if you live there for a long time and you associate it with that as your home base, but you're not really a citizen, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would be embarrassed if someone like that left, that lived there for a long time but wasn't really a citizen. You know how we have people here that aren't really citizens. But anyway, that's besides the point. I'm sorry I ran on that rant. But so I forget what I was saying. I forget what the point was. Oh, but if they do go across a border into NATO country. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Okay, so you see all the women leaving, with their suitcase and stuff. And my other thought to myself was, this could happen anywhere. This could happen to us. It could be China. I don't know who would do that against us. The missiles would have to go really far. Russia was right next to Ukraine, so the missiles didn't have to go that far. They would have to go over a whole ocean to get to us, missiles from Europe. Unless Canada for some reason started hating us, then it would be like that. But it could, what I mean? It could happen. It could happen to anyone, anywhere in the world. And what would you take? Think about it. Materialistic things don't matter, people. They do not matter. What would you take if you were a Ukrainian and you had to flee? What would you take? And me having been homeless, and kicked out of my home and stuff, it really, now I did put things in storage, but I've been dwindling down for the last, I dwindled down out of storage. I put it into a friend's garage, and then I dwindled down from the friend's garage into my apartment. And now I just did a big declutter from my apartment, that I did videos on. But I have a little bit more things in my, apartment bedroom storage that I use as storage in my bedroom that I could dwindle down some more, because things don't matter. Things don't matter. Now, your birth certificate, your passport if you have one, social security card, driver's license, your checkbook. Now they're like, okay, get some money out of the bank. I don't have any money in the bank. So, at first I was like, oh yeah, I gotta go get some money out of the bank just in case. Girl, you got nothing in the bank. But if I did, I'd get the money out of the bank. The gun, if I had a gun. Bullets, if I had bullets. I would take my dogs. Or at least Cooper I would take. Amelia, I would try to... Well, I would take Amelia too. I don't know if I would take Thomas. It would really be hard taking a cat with you, but at least Cooper can walk. Amelia, I could put her in a sack, carry her. I would feel bad leaving the cat, but cats are more resilient. They can maybe even survive, and then someone would find them and feed them or something. Because they can go into little air pockets and stuff. There are wild dogs. I guess dogs could survive too, but it just makes you think. Like, you have the big TV, you have the pool table, or you have the fancy car, or you have the best watch, or best coat or best shoes. None of that matters. What if it were you? What would you take with you? You really need to switch your mindset and what is really important in this world. Your identification, you know, of course, your birth certificate, social security card, driver's license, visa, any other kind of identity to prove who you are. Maybe even they should start fingerprinting people. I do have my children's fingerprints for the, you know, child safety thing when they were little. I got them fingerprinted. I've been fingerprinted because I was a teacher and stuff like that. But yeah, maybe I have the real ID too on my driver's license. I suggest everybody should get that, even if you don't have it. I mean, just because you never know. It could happen anywhere. And it really just makes you put things, hopefully it would make you put things into perspective. So that's all I have to say about that. And I'm going to do a video on, pull some cards on it. But I just wanted to come on. I wanted to do a video initially, because I know like people are saying now, like he's a little off, you know, maybe he's mentally ill, maybe he's sick, you know, and now I'm like, oh, should I even put a video that I thought that, because everybody's saying it now. But I had other videos on my memory card and I had no more room. So I guess I could have done my phone. Duh. I didn't think of that. But I just didn't have a chance. And I was tired and stuff like that. And I just didn't have a chance to film this video. So I'm a little behind, you know, a little late to the party. But I did want to post this because I was in my car now and I'm going to an appointment. But it just comes down to love. We need more love in this world, people. And not so much hate, you know? And if this can change that, if people can see there's so many people that across the world that are standing against one man for the love of Ukraine. We need to do that everywhere, for everybody, against any injustice. We need to open our hearts to love. Love will help. Love will solve problems. We need to use compassion, fairness, humility, and love. Talk to you next time.